A few minutes ago, Jiang He stepped into the ring and while holding the microphone, he started looking at Lu Sheng. On behalf of the National Martial Arts Association, he announced that Lu Sheng was the champion of this national martial arts competition for university students. Just as Jiang He was about to announce the champion, someone interrupted him, asking him to wait a moment. Upon hearing this, he was shocked and began wondering what was happening. The person who had interrupted was none other than Lu Sheng. He approached Jiang He, placed his hand on his chest, slightly bowed his head to him, addressed him as President Jiang, and explained that he had a request to make. He also added that he hoped Jiang would accept it. Jiang He turned his head towards Lu Sheng, reached out his hand towards him, and while looking into his eyes, decided to listen to his request. Upon hearing this, Lu Sheng slowly began to lift his head, and while he was looking down, he started to smile. He raised his head, turned his body back, and revealed to everyone that he had participated in this tournament with the intention of appreciating the skills of the great masters to perfect his path in martial arts. Upon hearing this, Jiang He was somewhat surprised. All the people in the stadium began to talk among themselves. Several seconds later, Lu Sheng turned his head to the side. While he had one hand in his pants pocket, he started pointing with his finger towards the side and told them that he was very disappointed with all of them. Upon hearing this, Jiang He began to stare at him intently and was somewhat surprised. He didn't know what Lu Sheng was doing. Lu Sheng revealed to everyone that none of them had made him feel pressured during this tournament. For him, this tournament was boring and monotonous. Upon hearing this, all the people in the stadium were left speechless. The woman who was with Zhao approached him and asked him what was happening and what Lu Sheng was doing. If he continued like this, he would end up becoming the target of all martial arts schools in the country. While Zhao was looking at Lu Sheng, he started touching his glasses with his finger and replied to her that he didn't know what Lu Sheng was doing. He knew him perfectly well and knew that he wasn't the type of person who despised others or became arrogant. While Zhao and the others were conversing, Lu Sheng began to point his finger to one side. Several seconds later, Lu Sheng pointed his finger towards Lion Jaibai, who was sitting on his couch calmly watching the fights. Lu Sheng told everyone that he was very disappointed with the martial arts school, Jai Dao. Lu Sheng revealed to everyone that the extreme twins who were promising and known as the stars of Jai Dao were actually trash who had not learned even a bit of the Jai Dao legacy. For Lu Sheng, the extreme twins were just charlatans and fame seekers. He mocked them by calling them trash. Upon hearing this, Lion Jaibai couldn't help but become enraged. He began to stare at Lu Sheng with a murderous look, unable to comprehend how someone could be so arrogant. All the students from Jai Dao Martial School couldn't help but feel furious. As he sat on the sofa, he tightly clenched his fist and struck the armrest. He stared intently at Lu Sheng and asked him what he meant by this. Lu Sheng turned his body towards Lion Jaibai and explained to him that he had no hidden intention. At first, he only wanted to fight against the extreme twins of the Jai Dao Martial School to strengthen his martial will and surpass the master. But now that he had fought against them, he told Lion Jaibai that they were very weak. After saying this, Lu Sheng's body began to emit a powerful blue aura. With a murderous look, Lu Sheng started looking at him and told everyone that he wanted to challenge the Supreme Master of Jai Dao, Lion Jaibai, right now. Upon hearing this, with a murderous look, Lion Jaibai began to stare into Lu Sheng's eyes. Lu Sheng did not back down and returned the gaze, creating immense pressure in the atmosphere. Both the spectators in the stadium and those watching the fights from home were shocked as they couldn't believe that Lu Sheng wanted to challenge Master Jai Dao of the Martial Arts Academy. They thought he had lost his mind. Kaiying placed her hand near her face, and while looking at Lu Sheng through the television, she began to wonder if he really wanted to challenge Master Lion Jaibai. Qin turned away from the television and was impressed, thinking that Lu Sheng was incredible. Seeing him challenging a master, Qin thought that Lu Sheng was a brave and bold person. While on the other hand, the girl with white hair crossed her arms and simply stood silently observing. She could guess what Lu Sheng was thinking. She explained to Qin that what Lu Sheng wanted was to use Lion Jaibai to break through the final obstacle and create a great impression in the battle against the 7th level master. Upon hearing her voice, Qin turned his head back and was surprised. At the same time in the stadium, Lion Jaibai gained momentum and with a big leap started moving towards Lu Sheng. He was ready to fulfill his wish. While little by little, Lion Jaibai was getting closer, Lu Sheng simply stayed there eagerly waiting for him. Seeing this, the girl with white hair started to smile and explained to Qin that Lu Sheng at that moment was going to be unique in the entire history of the Dragon Kingdom. Several seconds later, Lion Jaibai landed in the ring near Lu Sheng. He warned him in advance not to let himself be killed by him. Lu Sheng simply put his hands in his pockets and remained silent. Lion Jaibai thought that he was the first young master who had risen before the age of 20. With a smile, Lu Sheng asked him not to worry since in the stage of life and death, masters could also remain calm. At the same time, the girl who was accompanying Zhao crossed her arms and explained to the others that Lu Sheng didn't necessarily have to challenge Lion Jaibai. She didn't know why he didn't use his strength as a master to surpass any of them as his training partner. While Zhao had one hand on the railing, he turned his body towards them and explained that Lion Jaibai was the pinnacle of masters. In addition, Lu Sheng had a feud with the extreme twins, so Lion Jaibai would attack him mercilessly. Therefore, it was logical for Lu Sheng to seek to fight against him in order to become stronger. After saying this, Zhao turned his head towards the ring, and while looking at Lu Sheng, he started sweating. For him, this was very strange since Lu Sheng had never wanted to break the power of a Grand Master in such a simple way. While Lu Sheng had his hands in his pants pockets, he turned his head towards Zhang He, who started stroking his beard, closed his eyes, and couldn't help but praise him for becoming so strong at such a young age, given that his temperament and courage were exceptional. Zhang He decided to accept his request. He put his hands behind his back, turned his head towards one of the grandmasters standing beside him, and gave the order to stay alert throughout the fight and not let Lu Sheng get seriously injured. The great master closed his eyes and with a smile, he asked Zhang He not to worry because the 7 great masters took good care of Lu Sheng. Lu Sheng dropped his arms and simply waited for Lion Jaibai to start the fight. Lion Jaibai began to stare at Lu Sheng with an aggressive look and thought that despite being strong, he was still a 6th level fighter. He had been a master for over 20 years, so he didn't know how someone so arrogant dared to challenge a master like him. He decided to use his power as well and kill Lu Sheng with a single blow. Zhang He stepped into the ring alongside the 2 grandmasters, and while he was stroking his beard with one hand, he extended the other to the side. Since both agreed, he announced the beginning of the fight. He asked Lion Jaibai to consider the limits and stop in time. Several seconds later, the battle began. Lu Sheng activated his power, causing a powerful blue aura to start appearing around his body. He couldn't help but smile and feel happy because finally, the moment he had been waiting for so long had arrived. He decided to unleash the power that he had been suppressing for a long time. Lu Sheng did not know how he was going to break the state of a Grand Master with the help of others, nor how he was going to become stronger under the pressure of death. Lion Jaibai extended his hands to the sides, causing his body to gradually emit a suffocating energy. He began to stare at Lu Sheng and asked if he was ready to feel the pressure of a master. He extended his hands to the sides and used the transformation ability. Slowly his body began to transform and change color to green, causing scales to appear. While Lion Jaibai was transforming, Lu Sheng dragged his foot to one side and assumed an offensive stance. He didn't care about becoming a Grand Master. All he wanted was to decide life and death between them. Gaining momentum, Lu Sheng began to advance quickly towards Lion Jaibai. Just before he could finish the transformation, Lu Sheng appeared in front of him and started looking at him with a murderous gaze. Seeing that Lu Sheng had approached in the blink of an eye, Lion Jaibai was shocked. Lu Sheng approached him and while staring into his eyes, he told him that the saint had a fist, and he wanted to invite the Grand Master, Lion Jaibai, to death. Upon hearing this, his expression changed drastically. He was terrified and began to wonder what was happening. While Lu Sheng's eye was on fire, he used the skill called the Sutra of the Divine King of Darkness to increase his life force. After increasing his life force, Lu Sheng reached out and used the skill called Star Dominion, Burning Sun, causing a fireball to appear in the palm of his hand. Then, he clenched his fist tightly and used the constant stellar emission ability to make the fireball transform into blue flames. Lu Sheng gathered momentum, took a big leap, and while his eyes were shining and his body was surrounded by suffocating energy, he began to bring his fist closer to Lion Jaibai and used the technique called the power of the form of the divine whale law. Upon seeing this, Lion Jaibai's expression changed drastically. Lu Sheng's fist transformed into the sun. The energy emanating from Lu Sheng's fist began to spread in all directions. Jiang He quickly covered his face with his hand and thought that this was not good. Quickly, he took a big leap and started moving towards the ring with the intention of stopping Lu Sheng. The masters who were by his side tried to stop him, but it was in vain. Lu Sheng attacked Lion Jaibai, creating a huge explosion in the process, which was so powerful that it even destroyed part of the ring floor into pieces. Several seconds later, once the smoke curtain created by the explosion began to dissipate, Lion Jaibai's feet could be seen. Lu Sheng's attack had been so powerful that the only thing left of Master Jai Dao was his feet. While Lu Sheng had his fist extended towards Lion Jaibai and his body was surrounded by a powerful energy, Jiang He landed in the ring, near Lu Sheng, and asked him what he was doing. He remained silent for several seconds, then turned his head towards Zhang. While his body exuded a suffocating energy, he began to smile and asked the Grand Master if he also wanted to fight him. Upon seeing this, he was terrified. As he looked at Lu Sheng, he thought that he had just killed a 7th level master and now wanted to challenge him, an 8th level Grand Master. While Zhao was looking at Lu Sheng, he thought that Lion Jaibai had died without even leaving a body. At that moment, he realized that Lu Sheng didn't even want to use the pressure of a master. All he wanted was to challenge Lion Jaibai. Upon seeing that Lu Sheng had defeated Lion Jaibai, the spectators were shocked and began to wonder if he was truly at the 6th level. Zhao forcefully struck the railing with the palm of his hand and finally realized what was happening. He began to touch his glasses with his finger, and while staring intently at Lu Sheng, he realized that the only thing he wanted from the beginning was to confront the King of Masters. Lu Sheng turned his head towards Zhao and realized that he had finally understood it. While his body was emitting a powerful energy, he started staring at Zhao and told him that this was simply idealism. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.